Let's go. We got an epic guest in the building, a fellow Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm fanatic. This guy knows comedy. He's got a sense of humor, and he can blow up a roofing business. He's about to drop some secret wisdom, the little secret sauce that everybody's looking for on how to, enjoy the game again, right? You used to have some fun with it. How to collaborate to blow up on the scene and help everybody win, all right? All ships rises. We have Elijah with Romans Roofing, my man out in Indiana. What's good? How we living?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to get on here and chop it up. I saw some people on here. I saw Aaron Bethke. Shout out Aaron. Watched that episode, so I was excited to get on here and chop it up with you.
I've been excited for this one for a while, man, because you just seem like you're real. You seem just like a real dude, right? You keep it 100, and that's how I am, right? Good, bad, or ugly, keep it 100, man. So we'll go a little story time real quick. So you're out in Indiana. Did you grow up on a roof? Did you fall on a roof? How did you get into roofing? Because I kind of just fell on one.
So no, man. Like many in this industry, I did not set out to be a roofer. I'm not from Indiana, so I live in Indiana now. I've been a resident of Indiana for 10 years, but I grew up in south suburbs in Illinois. So I kind of have that
You're a
like
Bears
hustler
fan?
mentality. Yeah, diehard Bears fan,
Oh
diehard
yeah.
Bears fan, Cubs fan.
Yuck. Pat, go
Um,
back, go baby.
yeah, and Bulls fan. So that's what I do. But yeah, man, I how I got into the roofing industry was pretty crazy. Actually, I'd been recruited a couple times to come and knock doors, and I wasn't interested in it. I full disclosure, I thought it was a scam. It's like everybody else when they first hear about it. I'm like, man, I'm not going to knocking door to door for some insurance bullshit. So I like walked past that, and I was at a hospital. I was working overnights, miserable, and I applied for a job at a new Amazon fulfillment center that was opening up. A lot of people at that time were like super into Amazon. It was growing, so they're like, "All right, let's go check this out." I got to pick my own schedule. It was like a 4 day, 4 hour shift or 5 hour shift, like early in the morning, and it wasn't bad. It paid really well, and they set it up so I was going to be off on weekends and get to enjoy family time. I had a newborn, my little girl, so I was like excited to do that. So I put my 2 weeks in. I was let go at a job I was at. Um, After I got let go, I was waiting. I was like, it's all right, I'll sit with my family for a couple weeks and enjoy this. And when the time came to start at Amazon, they emailed me about 3 days before and told me that they were behind on production about a month and a half, and they weren't ready to bring me on yet. So
Wow.
here I am now, unemployed with a newborn. I'm already in debt to my in-laws. My fiance, her family was helping us out tremendously at that point. So I had no choice. I kind of lucked into a situation. They're like, "Hey, come knock doors," and I'm like, "Bro, I can't knock doors for just commissions. Like, I can't do that." So he's like, "Hey, I'll pay you $10 an hour for a couple weeks." He's like, "Until they open, and then you can go there." And I'm like, "All right, I'll try it out, whatever." So I go in as a canvasser, completely blind, had no idea. I had done sales many times in my life, but never door to door. I do like people. I have the gift of gab. I like to think. So I embraced it. I tried it out. First 2 days, dude, sucked. Miserable job, knocking doors, getting nowhere. Had no idea what in the hell I was doing. No training. Nobody telling me anything. Like no direction at all. I'm working with a bunch of kids. And then what happened was actually pretty crazy. So I went to lunch on the second day, and one of the girls that we worked with, she was like an 18-year-old girl, and she was like, "Yeah, my aunt did this. She got roofing and siding, and that's why I started working here." And I'm like, "Well, how much did that cost her? 30 grand, 40 grand?" And she's like, "No, she didn't pay anything for it." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Yeah, the deductible was only 500. Now, don't hang me for this, guys, but at that time, a lot of companies
Eating
didn't
it.
charge deductibles. Yeah, they were eating them.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Yeah, they just ate the 500 and it cost nothing." I said, "Well, who foot the bill for it?" And she goes, "Well, the insurance company because of storm damage." And I said, "Hold on a minute. You guys are out here knocking doors, and the insurance company's footing the bill for this, and you're not getting any leads." And like I just became like an expert, like literally in 2 days. And she's like, "Well, it's a lot harder than you think it is." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "You guys are making it harder than what you think." I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go knock doors now. I was supposed to wait a week to go knock doors. Fuck that." I went out there, started banging them down. I don't even remember what I was telling the people, but I was like, "Listen, All you got to do is let one of my guys get up there, and if it's there, I'm getting it replaced. And they were all about it. You knocked out like 6 or 7. Then I started realizing how lazy salespeople were around me, and I started off as
Oh
a
yeah.
canvasser. 3 months in as a canvasser, I was below a sales rep. I literally knocked doors and I got paid a bonus if they closed the sign. And then they would pay me for leads. And at that time, get this, I'd get a bonus for signing state farms. Hilarious. But yeah, times were just different back then. So I went nuts, dude. And then I saw, how much money people around me were making, and I was like, fuck, man, I need to get into that. Like, how can I make this turnover faster? So then I started sticking around and then assuring that my salesman closed the deal. Because what would happen is I would build rapport with my homeowner, and then some jagoff would come there and botch it for me, and then tell me, about whatever the case was. And I'm like, I know these people. Like, I'm talking to them. I know that they're about this. So then I would hang back. I'd learn the lingo, and I started doing my own pitch. And then before I knew it, was 3 months in, they said you come to sales. But what's funny is I went home that night and I said, hey, I believe there's a future in this. I said, I don't think I'm going to go to Amazon. And my wife and her family, they're like, no, you're stupid. Don't do that. This is all commission only, blah, blah, blah. You're only making $10 an hour. I said, hey, I said, I don't know. I just feel like there's something here. And they're like, no, don't do that. And I'm like, you're right. I shouldn't be dumb about it. Next morning on my way into work, I called Amazon and said, hey, I quit. I'm not even interested in coming out there anymore. I just put it all in on this. And they told me I could make, when I got into sales finally, which was my birthday in September of 2017, first year ever. And they said, there is no cap on your income. You get to make whatever you want. Say less. Say less.
Dude, that is epic, dude. So how did you handle that then? Like, so, you have a job that is saying, hey, we'll pay you securely. You have, a baby girl, right? So you got a little girl. And I think the hardest part here is what you touched on is the people closest to you are calling you insane. It kind of hurts your soul a little bit, right? Because you're like, no, I can feel it in my gut. Trust me. How did you handle that? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that get that exact same pushback. And look at you now.
So I can't vouch for everybody else's partner. For my partner in particular, I can vouch and say that, despite if she's upset at me or not, that's my number one. Like, I believe in you. You got to do this because like we need this. So once I have her bought in, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. That's just the
I
truth.
love it.
Those are my people. I got to pay, my daughter and her and my dogs. Like those are the people that rely on me to handle my business on a day in and day out basis. I don't really need much more motivation than that. And all of them have supported me. My daughter's like my number one fan, and Amanda is like the most amazing person in the world for me. So like she made the transition into that easy. As far as the commission goes, who gives? I mean, honestly, who cares? A lot of people dwell on that, but like I never could hold a job down before this. I never could, man. Like, cause it just wasn't for me. Clocking in nine to
Hmm.
five, having no idea about the bigger picture, no idea where this leads to, just being miserable. And my whole life, everybody
Oh
said,
yeah.
you got to go into this, and sometimes you gotta hate your life, and you gotta make this, if you want your dreams to come true, it's about sticking it out for 20 years in a job you hate every day, and to get to the hopeful day that you get to retire, which by the way, most people don't even live long enough to enjoy. But yeah, put your hours in, become a worker bee. Man, I'm good on all that, dude. I get to have fun here. I get to mingle here. I get to meet new people on a daily basis, and I'm learning a lot on the fly too. And you just get no days the same in the roofing industry. That's why I love it so much.
Mhm.
Like there's
Dude,
literally,
yeah.
nothing is the same. There's no consistency at all, and I love that.
So I mean, dude, you're crushing. First off, I'm on your website. I want to give a shout out real quick to our boy Tim at Hook Agency, dude. Love the website, dude. I mean, logo looks fresh. I love the freaking hero header video, dude. The fonts are nice. The coloring's nice. You got instant roof quote on here, man. Looks modern,
Yeah, that's
elegant, really
that's
well
Mike
done,
Goldstein. Rufel is Mike
dude.
Goldstein. Yeah,
Oh yeah, dude. So I mean, both of those two. I mean, dude, you look at the site. You're looking at Roofle. You said right? I mean, dude, unbelievable, dude. I love it. So you look at it now, dude, and dude, you're killing it, right? So now, I mean, the business has grown, right? And if you want to talk about numbers or anything, feel free. If you don't, whatever. Either way, I
I'm
know
open to
that the
book, man.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what did you? What was that growth rate? I mean, because
So
then we can kind of
so
break it down for people.
yeah. So when I came over, so Roman's been around for 5 years, It was originally
Mm-hmm.
owned by a local attorney named Jeff Semko, Semko Law. If you guys do anything bad or break the law in Indiana, hit him up. So Semko Law is the original founder of Romans. It was named after his son Roman, and he had a whole big mom and pop feel to it. One of my childhood friends ended up being a partner with Jeff Semko for about 2 years. So this is year three that they're in business there. So I'm leaving a corporate company I was at. I was at one point in time, a $120 million company. They were kind of like growing toward national, kind of chasing the public market. And it just wasn't for me. Corporate life is just not something that, at the end of the day, I'm still an animal. I can't be contained. And there's like not a
Amen.
lot of growth there. You got to be able to live a little bit. So uh, I learned a lot there, though. I learned a lot what not to do and a little bit of what to do as far as growth goes, but not too much. Honestly, like, not too much. Wasn't organized the right way. But when I was on my transition out, I wanted to start something on my own. I had a partner, really funny too. One of my partners now actually is the guy I went to work for at my first job ever. It was his company, and I was a canvasser for him. Fast forward 8 years later, and now we're business partners of an owners of a company. So we're gonna go and we're gonna start ground up. I met with a few people, and my buddy Angelo and me, we went to a Cubs game. And at the Cubs game, he was like, "Hey man, I really think you should sit down with me and Jeff." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm just not. I'm done working for people. I've been pushing off being an owner at this point about 3 years." And I'm like, "Dude, it's more than enough time. I have a lot of fun as a sales rep, so I've been financially okay for a little while now. Just taking on the extreme responsibilities of an owner, it just wasn't for me at that time. Now I'm at that. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to stop making other people money." So that's what I tell him. And he's like, "Look, dude," he's like, "you should always come and entertain and offer no matter what." And I'm like, "I agree with you on that. We'll come and sit down with it." So lo and behold, these guys had a mom and pop feel. They had a steady operation, about $700,000 was their biggest year. They were mostly geared toward retail. I had 10 guys that I was bringing on for Storm. So it kind of fit perfect, man. I wasn't going to have to go out and apply for a bunch of licenses and permits and, get all this stuff taken care
The
of,
whole
insure,
process. Yeah.
bonding, insure, yeah, all that stuff. So they had the shell. We brought over the sales team here, and we came over here and officially started getting to work in June 2 years ago. So
Wow.
from June to December, we did 7 million, um,
Woo!
and it was a huge year. We had a lot of fun. So we came back last year and we did 14.5 million.
Let's go,
So
baby.
now, yeah. So now we were like kind of shifting over things and going through a little bit of a transition. We moved everybody off of 1099, starting to try to secure a future for people. One of my dreams is that people retire with us. So we opened up a 401k with a three
That's
and
the
a
way to
half
do
percent
it.
match. I got
Oh,
health,
hell
dental,
yeah.
vision, vehicles, marketing. I mean, we're all in.
I mean, isn't that what good people are looking for, though, right? Like talented people. Even like if you look at yourself, right? You were looking for growth. You were looking for opportunity, right? To showcase your stuff, right? All this kind of stuff. And when you're offering those benefits and you're creating that culture and you're having that growth, that attracts good people. It helps retain good people, but it also attracts good people. I'm guessing you guys have had a lot of really good, talented people throughout that process to get that kind of growth so quickly. Tell me a little bit about that, right? Just team, performance, training, whatever it might be.
So you learn a lot along the road. And full disclosure, we lost a lot of reps. Even recently, we
Oh
lost a
yeah,
lot of reps too.
sales reps the
And
hardest one.
yeah, and a lot of that is on us, though. As leaders, you got to
Mm,
own the fact that you didn't really give them a position, or you didn't make it clear for them what the goals were, and put them in a position to succeed. And I'm not talking about all of them, because if some people are listening right now and they think they got let go for no reason, not hell no, you had a reason. But what I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, we could have done some things better. There are some
for
some
sure.
people that I let go that I think about sometimes, and I'm like, man, I really hope they stay in this industry. Because just because it wasn't good for Romans doesn't mean that it's not good for you. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a lot of good sales reps that cannot be leaders, that cannot do
Yeah.
things outside of just selling. And it's hard for owners sometimes to recognize that. So that's one of the obstacles we go through, but we believe in building a culture. So we've taken 2 years to actually do that. And what that means is you got to be okay with sometimes parting ways with talent.
Hmm.
And it's for the greater good because you need everybody to be positive You need everybody to be goal oriented, and people need to want to be good humans. I can't care more about your future than you do. Once that starts happening, then there's somebody we can't have in here. Also, gossip. You know, there's we give so many chances and so many opportunities for people, and we're quick to to have conversations with them to try to genuinely help them. But the one thing that we won't tolerate is gossip. Once you get into the point where you're like shitting on your teammates or your owners or going against what the common goals are and stuff, then we have to part ways at that point. That's a way to get yourself quickly out of here, because although we don't have to align with all beliefs, the end goal must be the same for everybody, and as long as we
Yeah.
all are on that same goal, then there's going to be a million different paths to do that.
So let's say I'm a $1.5 million closer, but I'm a total a-hole. Am I out?
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
actually have a
yeah.
story about that too. So yeah, if you're unteachable, then I have nothing for you anymore. Because the rule is, if you're the smartest person in the room, then find another room. So if you come into my meeting and you're the big dog and you're the smartest dude here, well, the fuck. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm still learning from my sales rep. So if you ain't got nothing to learn, then you need to go find a new room to get into. I don't know what else to tell you about that. So last year, we awarded, and this guy's one of my best friends. We awarded him top salesman of Romans. It was like, I think he did 1.4 or something like that. He was last year's winner. We had a large team, and he did really well. He literally got an award at our Christmas party, and he was fired maybe 7, 8 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, that was our top guy, and his beliefs didn't align with ours. He's still in this industry. He's still going to be awesome. He's still going to sell millions of dollars. He's a very funny dude. I love him. It's still my homie. But if you don't fit my culture, then my business, when it comes to Romans, it's my daughter, Amanda, and Romans. This is my family too, and it's not just my livelihood at this point. I got to remove the friendship because I got 50 other employees and their families all rely on me to eat as well as my own. So I got to do what's better for the masses and not just, the
Mm.
individual. So also, and if you're not growing here, I'm not going to be the reason that your growth gets stunted. You need to go off and do that on your own. Some people we lose reps to. We had a guy here who sold 900,000, and he only worked like 4 days a week. He owned a furniture shop and he worked part time. He did this for a year. Really cool dude. I tried to build a team around him. He quit and he wanted to go start off his own company. You know how that goes. 1 year doing this, you're
Oh,
the man.
yeah.
All right, well that's fine. That's going to happen too. It's musical chairs is what I like to say at the end of the year. So the roofing industry, there's a reason. There's a reason it happens, and that's my next mission. So I'm sure we'll dive into that later. But the the turnover rate right now and the acceptability of that turnover rate is alarming in the roofing industry, and we keep passing the buck. Oh, it's 2 to 3 years
Mm-hmm.
lifespan for a sales rep. Well, why, dude? Because you say that. If you're not closing your shop up in 2 years, then why in the hell are your salespeople leaving you in 2 years? That shit don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I know why. I was the sales rep. I know the answer to that is we start believing that we're the reason that our sales team produces at the level they do, and we're not. I'm living
Mm-hmm.
proof that that logo on your shirt doesn't mean shit. Although I love Romans to death, Romans is not the reason that I'm able to sign a job. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the reason that I'm able to sign that job. Those sales reps are all their own entities, and I really want to push that. I'm working with Jay Bradley and Reggie Brock and them with we call it the movement, but for roof
Reggie.
camp. Yeah, we're just trying to educate the younger up and coming roofers because this industry, man, we need you guys' help. We need you guys to step up and grab some of this cash flow. Also, I'm sick of seeing the same damn people on every stage speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like someone's
Mm.
got to get out
It
there and do
always
something
is.
about it. Yeah, dude. And there's
It
some
always is.
some cool dudes out there right now doing amazing things, but they just don't have the platforms. They don't have the knowledge. They're not willing to go out and ask for it. And I'm trying to like motivate people along the way. It's like, dude, I'm old. You know what I'm saying? I'll be 39. Like I'm old in this game. I'm talking. I got kids on my team, 22 years old. I tell them every day, every single day, bro, own this now. Own this now. My life drastically changed. If I would have gotten this 10 years earlier, whoo,
Oh, yeah.
woo, I might have my own event at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the industry is so easy to pull six figures and not easy, but if you know what you're doing, this is a six figure. They give it out like candy. So I mean, we need to
Mm-hmm.
jump on that.
And it's crazy. You're like, hey, if I was in this 10 years before, what's crazy about it is the hardest part in life is to figure out what you want, right? And so you kind of go on this journey of just trying to figure out what the hell you want. And the more I talk to people, that's the hardest part is to figure out what you want. And I'm telling you, the roofing space has so much to offer. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. I came from a tech background. I was in software sales, startup life. Had a little co-working spot right next to where Twitter was founded. Right, like that's my vibe. But I'm telling you, I have people in tech that are selling and they're freaking beasts. I'm like, dude, there might be roofing that might be the spot for you because you might go out and make a hell of a lot more cash even though you're making good money. There's so much opportunity there. And when you were talking about just environment, culture, all this kind of stuff, man, I'll tell you with my last company, we had a small team, but I never had one person quit. And then I made one bad hire, and dude, it changed everything, right? Until I got her out. It really did because we were in an environment where it was motivational video every morning. What are your 3 goals for the day? Put in the headphones, turn off the lights. We're ripping on the computer for the next 9 hours, right? Until we meet afterwards. Like we were just locked in. And that one person, while they were there, changed the entire atmosphere, the energy. And you got to get that out as soon as possible. Now, when you're talking about your goals, first off, you got a podcast, right? Tell me a little bit about the podcast, where they can find the podcast. You got to tune in. You got great guests. And why did you start it?
Okay, so the podcast is called The Roof Trolls, and that is with a Z at the end, not an S. We started it in last August. We just uploaded episode 39. It is a
Nice
very
work.
fun podcast. I emphasis on fun because we have a couple rules. One is no scripts. The other rule is that we do everything in person. So we have not opened up the virtual as of yet. So people actually come to our office or we go to theirs and we shoot the podcast. We try to do fun things on there. We've done Pokemon rips. We've done, some drinking. We just try to do anything we can to be creative, have a little bit of fun. We had a guest on here, Dustin Cates, actually down in Texas, and he was talking ridiculous about throwing 60 yards, footballs 60 yards in the air. So we
How
actually
far can
went
you
out
throw
to the
it?
football. He
How
threw
far
it.
can you throw it?
Oh, not me. No, no, I would never even
No,
engage
no,
in that
him.
conversation. He threw it like 50, but and then
That's
he
not
then he
bad.
ended up he ended up getting the 60, like you said. The problem is they used a ball that was like not an NFL ball, not even an
Oh,
NCAA ball. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know,
oh,
I don't know. But yeah,
asterisk.
we did that. But the podcast itself was originally to have a little bit of fun, and it was to create a platform. That was the main concept. So I love collaboration. I believe that we have such great relationships anyway as individuals. So like I already knew I was going to be able to get some guests on there. But the roofing industry has been very receptive to the roof trolls. And now we're at the point where like I want to branch it out to other people. So I've had more guests on here than just roofing, which is also why we call it trolls. The two reasons was one, I wanted to talk about things outside of just roofing, and then the other part was we embraced the controversy on the roof
You
trolls. I
troll
like
all
for
your
it to be
buddies.
yeah, and I'd like for it to be a
Hmm.
platform people can come on there and roast each other and have fun. And it has been, dude. It's been a lot of that going on. I think it's growing, and I'm really happy with it. But you could find us anywhere podcasts are played. You can also see us on YouTube. We have a website for the Roof Trolls, and then we have an Instagram page and a Facebook page as well. The Instagram page is cool. It just started, but all it is clips, all day long clips.
Hmm.
We've had mayors on, we've had Super Bowl champions on, we've had the Kings of Roofing on, we've had, I went live with Deshaun Bryant. We had John Cena on the same week. We had, Dan Walrack and Tiffany Walrack have been on. Ty Adams, Tony Flatham. We just had some amazing people that have been on. Then some local people too that have been on doing awesome things as well. So I think Roof Trolls is for everybody, but the platform was initially created to shine light on people who don't have a spotlight. So instead of complaining about it, I just went out and created one so that I could help myself because I too have goals. I want to get. There's a couple podcasts I'd like to be a part of. There's a couple guests I'd like to have, and then also my dream is to speak on some of the stages. I don't want a side panel and breakout sessions. I mean, those are great, but I'm talking about like I want to be on the stage. So that's the goal right now, and I'll continue to work toward that goal.
So if you guys notice, right? So obviously Elijah's got a lot of these goals that he's teed up for himself over the last few years that he's been able to knock down. And now when you see how committed he is to this new goal of getting on stage, spreading the message, getting other people on stage who he believes deserve to be so, you can see he's breaking it down, right? And he's doing all the action items, that are needed to get to where he wants to go, right? So as soon as you can create clarity on where you want to go with your business, your life, whatever it might be, boom. All right, now I got my target, right? That's one of the hardest things. I have a compelling vision that I want. Now he breaks it down. Okay, I need to release these episodes. I need to get on other podcasts. I need to do X, Y, Z. Has this been something that you've always been good at in terms of just like being able to figure out what you want and then get it? Or is this something that you've kind of grown into? Because, dude, that's one thing I've always been good at, but I started to realize it's the vision and then the action items. People just aren't doing it.
So it was like life changing almost. We had a meeting, and I was already trying to film some stuff. I had been hindered a little bit when I was at the other company. That's part of why I decided to leave too. But the marketing I started to grow an interest in because the way I looked at it was like, and people were explaining it to me that no one's watching anyway. So why in the hell do
Mm-hmm.
I care what gets put out there? I just need to be real with people, and I think I was trying to be something that I wasn't for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I said, "Hey, man, this is just this is it. This is my story, and this is what I'm gonna do." So instead of telling people what to do or giving them roadmaps and all that shit, I just kind of like more so started telling my story. And I thought the
Mm-hmm.
podcast was like a really good thing to start up with that too, because we could throw in little tidbits and people will get to know on a more personal level. And then as I've been doing it, I was stepping away from sales. I'm trying to like go and hype it up and build up people and try to like, just do something outside of the normal. Because everybody's asking for money and stuff, and some people out there, as
Mm-hmm.
myself, are not driven by money. I love money. I like to make money, but it's not the end all be all for me. So I
Same.
started talking about how, once I started making money and I was chasing money, I was only growing by so much. Once I started building the people around me, my income started skyrocketing. And it's because people want to connect with somebody real and they want to be, they want to feel a part of the journey. So that's what my goal is now is like when I speak at events or like when I put out any content and stuff, it's real, man. It's like a real thing. So I'm not saying that my way is the most effective, and I'm certainly not saying it's the end all be all. But what I am saying is I was able to 10x my income in 8 years with zero
Mm-hmm.
education, starting off as a
Mm-hmm.
door knocker. And someone out there has to be able to relate with that. And if I can connect with one or two people every time I post something, then it's worth it in itself anyway. And,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you got to have a clear mission statement. So I know what I got to do. I got to give away, give away, give away, and give away until my opportunity comes. When the world sees that I genuinely care about other people, that's when it's going to give me the opportunity, and I'm going to seize that. I'm going to make sure that I
Mm-hmm.
capitalize on that as much as possible, and I drive that home. I drove down to Louisville last year free of charge, stayed in a Airbnb. I paid for that. Went to the event, spoke for free at Roof Camp. I got invited at Birmingham, Alabama. I'm going to go there and speak on the 16th of July. I'm paying for that. They don't pay for that. So like these are things that I pop on any podcast. I do anything I can possible for free to show people that I genuinely do care about what I'm speaking on, and it's important that the young generation doesn't get taken advantage of, and that the sales reps understand the value of themselves because they're getting hurt right now by owners across the board, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very vicious. And I want to end that cycle, and I want people to realize how difficult sales really is, and how it is. It's the tip of the spear, like it just is. Without
A
sales, you
hundred
don't have
percent.
supplementers, estimators, a business to run, no bills to do, nothing. It comes from sales. So don't get it twisted. And too many homeowners or too many business owners are right now.
I mean, sales is the end all be all, right? It doesn't matter what you do. You don't have a business if you're not selling, right? It is the oxygen, the lifeblood of the business. And you mentioned a few things. First off, just being authentic. I know it's one of those things, especially when we get into content creation. Once we become the face of a business, whatever it might be, we feel like you kind of got to adjust yourself, right? You got to kind of play the part and become this character. But the key is actually to step into your true authentic self, right? I was just watching a sales training video last night, just like some kind of clip, and it was talking about that, about how the best salespeople are actually the most authentic people, right? And then what happens is that is able to create a rapport, and then from that rapport, now they can share their vulnerabilities, right? And that's actually something I try to do with the podcast. Is I feel like I've noticed better podcasts episodes for me personally when I take somebody who has a success story and try to talk about their vulnerabilities more than how they're a superpower, right? Because that's not relatable. And nobody wants to see somebody else go out there and talk about how great they are anymore. Nobody cares. They're looking for answers, right? They're looking for a support system. They're looking for people who've been there, done that, and that, hey, I inspired to be them. You know, it's kind of like when I started my first business. I remember I saw Gary Vee at a roofing conference like 8 years ago in New Orleans, right? At
Where
that
was it
time,
at? Wait, hang on. Where was it at?
New Orleans. It was
No,
in,
and IMP Expo.
yeah. You
Yeah,
were there
yeah.
too?
I was front row, bro. I got a picture with
No
him.
shit.
Yeah, that
No
was my
way,
first roofing
bro.
event ever.
That
Yeah,
was
New
my
Orleans.
first one too. So we got
Yeah,
roofing the
badass.
exact same time, basically.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, dude.
I saw Eric
Yes.
Thomas speak 6 months after that in Las Vegas. I got invited to Win the Storm as $1 million producer. That was my first full year in sales. Sold a little
Oh,
bit over
that's
two and got
epic,
invited
dude.
there. Yeah.
Oh, that's freaking epic. Wow. Small world, dude. That's crazy.
Yep.
But dude, I was so into him, right? Like he's part of the reason I think why I finally just jumped off, right? I was at a software sales job literally at lunchtime. I walked out and borrowed like $1,500 a month from my buddy. And I lived in my boxers in freaking a box apartment, right? Like I was trying to make it happen, but I got to introduce him. I saw him at the airport, and I got to introduce him to my buddy Randy Brothers, who's a mentor, business partner, client. Be like, hey, this is one of my clients, blah blah blah, and dude, took 10 minutes, bro, out of his day, told his crew to go ahead and just talk to me, dude. And you're like, man, that's what it's all about, right? Like, that's the goal. You want to be that person that can get there, inspire, and then actually be authentically a good freaking human being, dude, right? Like, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Yeah, dude,
100%.
it's great.
I love Gary Vee. A lot of people talk shit on him, but it is what it is. Like I always tell people, hey man, you can say whatever you want, but only one of you guys owns a $240 million company. So
Oh yeah, dude. And dude, people will always be nitpicky and whatnot. Maybe it's just not your vibe, but he's one of those people though, for sure, dude. Um, so dude, hey, what when you're looking at this year, right? Because now that you've got to the point where you're able to kind of scale it, I'm sure there was plenty of growing pains and stuff like that. We're in the heat of season right now. You know, what are you guys working on right now? So once you kind of get to that point where you reach the revenue that you do, right? Another level, another devil, right? It's not like all of a sudden now it's easy peasy. Now it actually just gets harder, and you gotta get more skilled, right? So what are you guys working on? What's going on at Romans right now?
the mission statement is huge right now. I've been chasing $15 million for almost 5 years now. I have yet to
Mm-hmm.
eclipse the $15 million mark. I had 12, I've had 10. I came back and did 12 and a half one time. I did 11. I just have not been able to get there. Last year I did 14 and a half. So last year was the biggest year I ever had. But I still haven't hit 15. So right now, the goal that we set for ourselves was a minimum of 17 and a half, hoping to get to 20. But until I cross 15, my job's not done yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can move on to that next goal, but right now 15 is the number for me to chase. I need to get that. So that's been the mindset for a while. I just like that number. Also, when I sat down with Tony Flatham, because those guys did 64.5 million in a year. And when I sat
Mm-hmm.
down with them, I'm like, bro, what the hell happened? And they were aiming for 20 that year and just kept going further and further. But he like broke it down kind of, and it made sense. He's like, you got 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, 7 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20, 30 million. Those are your, and they seem small, but each individual one takes so much more, so much more. And where I think that we hurt ourselves and we made ourselves a lot more efficient than other companies is we did 14 and a half on residential door knocking. Like a
Damn.
little bit of branding, but residential door knocking. No commercial, barely any retail, solid storm restoration, door knocking. Now we've come back this year, and I have we acquired three retail guys, one multifamily guy. So the job sizes that they come in now are a lot larger. So I do believe that we're going to exceed expectations, but regardless, the mission statement for me is 15, and our end goal was 17 and a half, no matter what. Anything over that would be a blessing. Right now, according to our accountant and our paperwork and stuff, we're on pace for about 20. So I think
Woo!
we're trending in the right direction. Will we get there? I don't know, but we're going to break 15. I know that. So it's a win for
So
me.
what's this? Let's be for real, okay? Let's say there's companies that are doing well, companies that are struggling, right? I kind of hear a good mixed bag of what's going on in the world right now. And let's be for real. If you can door knock and you can close deals, doesn't matter where you are right now, life will be okay. Okay? So we got a guy here who basically you took door knocking to open up amazing opportunities, right? What's the secret at the door? What's your, I mean, when you were hustling, making it happen, what was the secret sauce? What worked well? Is there any approaches, strategies, one-liners, vibes, schedules, routines, whatever that you felt like were crucial?
Well, first off, I'd pay. I always tell people to, and you'll get there too if you've been in this for years. I would pay $150,000 right now for a tape recording of what I used to say at the door when I first started in this industry. I have no idea what I was saying, but bro, I'm telling you right now, I was spitting leads out like it was no one's business. So I wish that I knew what I said, and that's why new people that come in the industry, they're so valuable because all they know is get the inspection. That's all
Oh
they know.
yeah.
They don't know back
Oh
end, so they
yeah,
don't
dude.
talk about it. I know too much in the industry now that I get lost in this sauce, like anybody else would. So my advice to door knockers, or for anybody who's hustling for the secrets, there's two things you want to do for sure. One is stop chasing doors. I know that that sounds stupid, but the majority of your business that you obtain over the years is going to be through conversation. Start chasing conversations. Start stopping people when they're gardening, stopping people at gas stations, talking to cashiers, talking in the lines at the grocery stores. Start talking to people jogging in the neighborhood. Start talking to people walking by. The mailman. When's the last time you gave him cards to put in when he sees shitty roofs up? Like, go talk to those
So true.
people, and then that's what you really want is you less doors because if you hit 200 doors a day and you feel accomplished or like, hey man, the company told me to go pin 200 doors a day, but you only talk to 13 people, that's a loss, brother. Like it's your time
And
that
you're
you should
worn
be.
out too, dude,
Yeah, you burn
mentally.
out. Then the other thing is listen. Stop talking. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You go in the door to talk and you have rebuttals in the back of your brain and you're ready to fire them off and you're already halfway through your pitch and the homeowner has no damn clue what the hell you're doing there. Stop. Stop. Have a conversation. Find out if this is something they're even interested in. Do they know about it? You know what I'm saying? Like let me tell you why I'm here. Explain, give them a chance to speak. Let them know, hey, I'm working on a few neighbors in the area, and I just wanted to let you know I've had some pretty good success with them in getting their roofs and stuff covered. I figured since you guys are in the area of the same storm swath, maybe I'd stop by and leave my card. I've been extremely busy with these storms, but while I'm in the neighborhood, I like to reach out to as many people as I can. So just let me know if you benefit from my services or whatever. No pressure. Look me up, look our reviews up, and hopefully you guys get taken care of. That's it, dude. People are scared to just be real and open with people or walk away from them. The way I look at it and the way I view sales is that it's a privilege for me to work with you 100%. But it's also a
Hmm.
privilege for you to have someone with my knowledge and skill set to work your claim for you. So once we understand there's a mutual need on both sides, then you have better conversations with homeowners and you can explain to them. But you have to be
Hmm.
willing to walk away sometimes. That's why a lot of people have the problems that they do. If a homeowner's being very difficult over something in the contract or they've given you reason to believe that they could be, up to no good because there's bad homeowners just like there's bad contractors. Then you need to be able to gauge those people and you need to understand that that's not your client. Every client is not yours, and even the greatest salespeople in the world get told no. So, like, you just go
Hmm.
into it with that mindset and
Don't waste your
understand,
time at that point.
yeah, while it's a numbers game, if you chase conversations, you're likely to be a lot more successful than the person chasing doors.
Dude, and I agree with that so much too. It's funny. So I did cold calling for a software company for a while. I was doing like 150 cold calls a day, right? Smiling and dialing. It was on an auto dialer. Lead would say hello, wouldn't even know who it was. Lead would pop up, click on it, try to research it, try to get them to basically take the time out of their day to go sit down. I'm gonna send them a link, hop on a demo, and close them right there, right? And so, like, dude, the thing is it's if you go into it where it's just a numbers game every single day, dude, you're gonna wear yourself out. If you waste your time on the wrong prospects, you're gonna burn yourself out. It just there's no if or buts about it, right? So
Yeah.
I liked a couple of things that you said there though, and when I think about sales, it's funny. I look at some of the stuff I did with my first couple companies in the roofing space, and I think about some of the sales I had because I did 200 episodes with Randy about roofing, dude. And at that point, I didn't know anything really about roofing for the first 100 episodes. Like I just didn't know what I was even talking about. But dude, I'm telling you, I was closing deals like crazy because people loved my vibe, the authentic vibe, the energy, right? And they wanted that, right? As just as a business leader. And I look at it now and I look at some of the deals that I didn't close, right? And I think, even though I was more intelligent or I maybe had a better solution to offer, I maybe didn't bring that energy. And I'm telling you, there's something important about that. And then another thing is I have a recorder on my Zoom, right? And I know you guys aren't on Zoom, but I'm sure there's other things to kind of think about or ways to go about this. I know for a fact, dude, if it says that I talk for 50% of the time or more, I didn't close that deal, right? You know what I mean? Like you said, you have to listen. You have to get them talking. You're a doctor, right? You're basically a doctor going in there trying to figure out what the best solution is for them and their property, right?
Yeah, and
So,
positive
dude, that's
energy,
money.
like you alluded to. Jordan Belfort, and say what they will about him, but hey, man, the guy created off of
Still a
nothing
baller.
something. So yeah, and he's turned his negative into positive, in my opinion, with what he's doing now, traveling the world and helping sales reps. But he has a
Mm,
straight line sales, and that's exactly what it is, man. It's sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as fuck, and an expert in your field.
I
And that's
saw
what you have
that.
to be. You
I
got to be
saw
sharp
that.
at the door. You got to be excited about what you're delivering, and you got to be the man. And if, as long as you can handle those three, most people are gonna, if they're gonna sign, they're gonna sign with you. But you have to be real. So many people are listening to people who haven't knocked doors in 20 years tell them how to knock doors, and they're listening to them. They think that that's still the game.
Mm-hmm.
That game has changed a long time ago. I remember it used to be tucked in shirts, uh, look presentable, well dressed, blah blah blah. Hell no, dude. The way you see me right now is how you're gonna see me at every roofing event. And in the beginning, it used to drive people nuts. Now, if I showed up in a suit, somebody would question me because they know who I am. Like that's just what I'm about. That's my life. I'm straight bill hats, tatted up, t-shirts and jeans. I don't care. I'm not here to impress anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like my message is why I came here. The network is why I came here. The hell do you care what I wear to, clothes wise? Nobody does. The people want
Go
to
look at
connect
the
with people who are
billionaires,
genuine.
dude. Go
Yeah.
look at dude. Look at like Cuban. Go look at Gary Vee. Go look at dude. Eventually, bro, they drop the suits anyways, dude. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? It's like this big play that they use to try to get to the top. But dude, once they're feeling themselves, dude, they step into that real authentic
Yeah.
self. So
You don't
I'm
need to
the
look
same
like
way,
the
bro.
man. Yeah. People tell you you're the man. You don't need to look like it.
Yeah, as everyone, dude, when you walk in the room, eventually they're like, "Wow, that person's the man," right? And so
Yeah.
you don't have to tell nobody that you're the man once you get there, dude. What
You
about
just
you
learn
know
how to
you know
communicate too. Every room I go into, I feel like I belong there. You learn how to communicate, and you
hundred
feel the
percent.
same way. Yeah.
But dude, that goes into so basically, I got one more question for you. Then after that, I'll let you kind of close it out. So it could be wisdom, it could be a rant, it could be a book to read, it could be a movie. I don't care what it is. But when we were talking about walking into a room, feeling like you belong and being able to communicate, right? Think about just when you're a kid, right? There's all these questions that you know the answer to, right? That you never raise your hand for, or something that you want to talk about that you just keep your hand down, right? And there's so many amazing people who are like that their entire life. It could be because someone, shat on them because they said the wrong answer, or it could be whatever it might be. I think confidence has always been if I got it, I guarantee I'm winning. If I don't have it, I guarantee I'm losing. How the hell do you get confidence if you don't have it?
So that's a work in progress.
Always,
I
right?
didn't, I didn't have it early on either. Like I said, I couldn't hold a job down, dude. One of my greatest accomplishments in life was paying back Amanda's family for all the money that they gave. I kept a notebook, and it was so embarrassing to have that. They paid for formulas, they
Kills you,
paid for
bro.
rent a few times. Yeah, dude, it
Oh
sucks.
yeah.
And as a man, you're like, "Duh, dude, I got to do what's right by them, and I gotta pay that back if I'm gonna ever feel better about it." So I did that. So I just felt
Good for you.
accomplished with that. But I had low confidence, I'd say, up until about halfway through doing this. Um, when
Good for you, man.
again, I got a great partner. I got a great partner. So she constantly builds me up, even when I shouldn't be built up. So she nobody ever told me I was a good man before her. So like After a while of
Is that
hearing that, you're
crazy?
like, fuck, man. Yeah, yeah, they set the bar so high. You're like, I have to meet these expectations. Then I have a little girl. It's different. I think I don't have a son, so I can't speak on it. But I'm the love of her life. I'm the first love. I'm the man that gets to set that bar for her. So like, I got to be a good human being. So then once you realize that you have a bigger purpose in this, that you have to be a bigger person, that's when you realize that shit, you need to be the man. So like, how do you be the man? Well, the man keeps his mouth shut and he grinds. That's what the man does. The man grinds and he builds people up around him so that his family doesn't have just um, a basket of cash. His family has an empire. He builds a castle for his queen is what he does. So I put my head down. I bought my first home. I gained more confidence. I bought my girl a car. I gained more confidence. I gave a vehicle to my mom. I started as a sales manager. I gained more confidence, and now I own a
Good for
business
you,
and
man.
I work with my people, and I genuinely love my people.
That's
Therefore, I've
awesome,
become a
dude.
better human being. So I've gained more confidence.
So
And
what
it's
about
hard.
when you realize that you're the king, you got to build the castle for your queen, but you weren't even freaking close to being able to do that. Were you able to kind of convince yourself that you were kind of a king at that point and it was just a matter of time, or was it just shut the hell up, Elijah, just put your head down?
So so I already felt like I was rich, and
Hmm.
the money
That's
thing wasn't
cool.
really a cash grab. So I can tell you a quick one real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so this is one of the wildest things that's ever happened to me too. There's two of them. So one, when I bought my first house, I got approved for a loan, and I went and sat with the loan guy, and the guy said, "Hey man, we're going to approve you for 240,000." And I was like, I literally almost pissed my pants. I'm the first homeowner in my family, first business owner, first
That's
everything. So
great,
I'm
man.
like,
Good for you,
oh
dude.
man, like this is amazing, yeah. And then he goes, the only thing we got to do is get the bank statements, and once you maintain 15,000 in your bank, I think it was like 3 months, like you'll be good to go. And I was so depressed, bro. I was so
Yeah.
depressed, and I get in the car and I'm like, I don't even explain this to my fiance, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like 15 grand? This is crazy. So I go home and I tell Amanda we got approved for the loan, but not to get excited because we have to maintain 15,000 in our bank account. And she goes, okay. And I said, well, no. I'm like, Amanda, when the hell is that going to happen? Like, I don't, what are we going to do? And she goes, Elijah, we've maintained over 15 probably the last 6 months. I don't know what's in my bank account even to this day. She manages all the money. I make the money, it goes into an account. She puts it aside, pays the bills. I don't know what the internet costs in my house. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like those things are my job is to support my family. She has a job to help me on the back end, but I gotta go hunt. She can cut the meal up, but I gotta go get it. So that's always been
Yeah.
our game plan. And I couldn't believe that we were able to do that. Like I had no idea what was in my account. So like that's just proof that I didn't focus on that to drive me. Then the craziest thing that ever happened to me was in 2018. I got a check. We got paid every Friday, and it was commission only job. I got a check. I put it in my center console, and I forgot about it. And I'm not to be an asshole. It just happened. So I got paid again on Friday, and my check was not inside the box. I had to go see the owner of the place to go get my check. I was given my check, and I got super excited. I couldn't believe it. I was like really pumped around the office, and everybody was so negative to me. They were so upset, and I was like, "Damn, this is kind of shitty." I bust my ass. Like, so I went into the office of the owner and I said, "Look, man, it was $12,000, most I ever made in my life in a week." And I'm like, "Look, man, this is my first huge check. This is I know I made a check. Thank you." I was like, and it really
Yeah.
hurt my feelings that you guys acted like this. Like that makes me not want to work here anymore. That makes me think you
For
guys
real.
are assholes for the way you treated me. And he shut his door and he said, Elijah, last week's check was bigger than that. You can't act like this every time you get a check. I went out to the car, bro, and I'm not going to tell you what that check was, but it was
No
insane.
way.
I couldn't
Dude,
believe it,
that's
dude, and I didn't
crazy.
even deposit in there. Yeah, so when you're focused on your goal, you need to just be focused on your goal. The
So
back end will clean itself up.
that's funny. So he's
It's fucked
basically
up.
like, dude, you already got a check like this, bro. You don't have to be acting like
That's
this
why
the
they
whole
were
time,
mad
dude.
at me because they knew how much I
You had
made on the
no
last
freaking
check.
idea, bro.
Yeah, everybody was already upset, and I didn't even know. I didn't
That's
even know. And then when I pieced it
hilarious,
together,
dude.
I'm like, man, people were so weird that whole week and stuff too. It's like, sales, when you start really, really dialing it in sales and you're on your game, there's a lot of money to be made. It just is what it is. But the people in the office really, they get upset about it. And again, it's growing pains, dude. When I was a young punk, I didn't know any better. I'm 31 years
Oh
old.
yeah.
I've been poor my whole life, and now I'm not poor anymore. So like, I don't know how to handle it. Nobody does. So it's a learning curve, and that's what we try to teach our reps too. Like, you guys take off, things in your life are going to change drastically,
Hmm.
and it's up to you. One good year of sales can alter your entire life, for you and your
Dude,
family.
yeah. And dude, none of us know what we're doing, right? We might be a specialist in one area as a career and be really good at that. But outside of that, dude, we don't know what the hell we are doing. So, take everybody's advice, wisdom, whatever, with a little bit of a grain of salt, right? Because we're all just trying to figure it out, right? And at the end of the day, get yourself around good, positive energy who are people who are motivated, on the same page, have the same values, and don't forget to have fun. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you stop to have having fun, game over. Game over. You ain't gonna shine. You're not gonna have the charm. You're not gonna have the charisma. So always make sure that you're having fun in the game, right? That's that at the end of the day. Because dude, like you're saying, Elijah, the money's great, but at some point, guaranteed that's not gonna, tickle your fancy anymore, right? It's not gonna
No,
make you happy.
yeah, you got to chase fun. We promote that on the podcast. That's what we say all the time.
Hmm.
Like, it has to be fun, because the second it stops being fun, then you're going to check out. Your energy is contagious, and being a good person is contagious too. So you can't fake that, man. You're not going to get back what you put in. So
Amen.
you gotta be real, and you gotta be genuine. And for me, I need to know that my day is going to at least be enjoyable. I don't want to be miserable, man. That shit sucks. So
Dude,
that's
for
that's my
real.
only goal in life, is to eventually buy my freedom and to enjoy where I'm at right now.
Mm. All right, man. Hey, close this out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys are checking out the Roof Trolls. Make sure you guys check out his beautiful website. Follow him on social media. You can go to romansroofing.net. See what he's all about, right? And make sure you kind of stay in tune with him. Especially when you're in the roofing space contracting world. Make sure that you're tuning in. Let's get this guy on stage, baby. Let's make it happen. All right. The floor is yours. The stage is yours. Close us out.
Okay, I'd say, everybody should, out there, if you're watching, and I'm recently big onto this. We had our whole team do it as well, and everybody should too. You should have a mission statement. You should understand what your direction is, what your path is, and where you're going. Also have a plan on how to lay that out. You need to go after it. I go after it. Love me, hate me, laugh at me, talk shit, whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, you're never going to be able to say that Elijah didn't get after it. You have to get
Mm.
after it. Sometimes what you don't do is just as important as what you do. Make sure you guys close the year out strong. Make sure you have the focus in mind. And remember that mantra is everything to you. You need to have one. I have one. I'll share it with you on my exit out of here. My name is Elijah Muhm. I believe in restoring the image of door to door sales through collaboration, education, and humor. I am on a mission to end my family's poverty cycle. I am proud to be a member of the eighth wonder of the world, the greatest roofing industry, or the greatest industry in the world, the roofing industry, the only industry that gets you to write your own check. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Mm. Let's go, baby. Attack, offense, attack, attack, attack. Come on, build to be better. Let's get it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get it.
Thanks, bro.
Money, bro.